Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. We are in the book of Numbers right now, and in these next 2 days, we're going to be going through 5 festivals. You might call them holidays also. But these are 5 festivals that we've talked about these in depth in the past in Leviticus and Exodus in our study through that. But remember, we're talking about this. This is being brought up again because this is a whole new generation. The first generation has died off, except for Joshua and Caleb and Moses. And so you got all these new people, and God is saying these festivals are important, and there's a lot of sacrifice that's done with it. When you start looking at all the animals that are sacrificed for all these festivals, it is amazing. Your eyes are going to bug out when you see how much blood is flowing through these festivals here. Today it's entitled Festivals Pointing to Christ, and then tomorrow we're going to be talking about festivals pointing to the end times. Okay, so we're covering 2 today and 3 tomorrow. We'll be going through finishing chapter 28 today, and then tomorrow will be all of chapter 29. Today we're going to be talking about the Passover and then the Festival of Weeks, which is also called Pentecost. So let's read here today. This is taken from Numbers chapter 28, and I'm going to be reading verses 16 to 31. It says this: On the 14th day of the first month, the Lord's Passover is to be held. On the 15th day of the month, there is to be a festival for 7 days. Eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly, and do no regular work. Present to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 2 male young goats, of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defects. With each bull, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. With the ram, 2/10, with each of the 7 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. Offer these in addition to the regular morning burnt offerings. In this way, present the food offerings every day for 7 days as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. It is to be offered in addition to the regular burnt offerings and its drink offerings. On the 7th day, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Okay? That's the first festival. And a lot of offerings were given. And these offerings were in addition to the daily offerings, okay? So you didn't stop the daily offerings and go, oh, we're doing the Passover offerings. No, this was in addition to it, okay? So this first Passover is, if you look back into Exodus, the Passover was when the angel of death passed over during the 10th plague, okay? And so that's what it's designed for us to remember, or for the people of Israel to remember that and not forget about that, okay? We can look at this today, though. This festival here points to Jesus. So if you look at it and you're looking towards the future, Jesus is fulfilled in his death in this Passover, okay? I won't go into all the details of it, but it's got to be the perfect sacrifice and everything else, and he was actually crucified on the Passover right during that time. So anyway, this points to the death of Christ. The Festival of Weeks, or Pentecost, which we're reading next, points to his resurrection. Okay, so let me read this. This is verse 26. On the day of the first fruits, when you present to the Lord an offering of new grain during the Festival of Weeks, hold a sacred assembly, do no regular work. Okay, the first fruits, okay? The first fruit of resurrection is Jesus. Okay, so that's where I get that. Verse 27, present a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. With each bull there is to be a grain offering and 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with oil. With ram, 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat to make atonement for you. Offer these together with their drink offerings in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. Be sure the animals are without defect. Okay? Who is the only person without defect? Jesus. Okay, we're all born with defects because we're all born with that sinful nature. But Jesus was not, because he was 100% divine, 100% man. And so he is the only perfect sacrifice that would fulfill what's talked about in the Passover and then what's talked about in the Pentecost. So you have these two festivals, first one pointing to the crucifixion of Jesus, the second one pointing to the resurrection of Jesus. Okay? So remember, a lot of the stuff you read in the Old Testament is pointing to Jesus. All right, so just something for you to keep in mind here. Join me tomorrow as we continue our study through the book of Numbers as we jump into chapter 29, where we're going to talk about the next 3 festivals, and we're going to be looking at how those point to the end times. Lord's blessing. I will see you tomorrow.